and do it in the way that you want to do rather than sort of following others.
Yes, it's almost a status thing, isn't it? And when we watched the sprints yesterday, Moa Ilar there, bib number 4, she's hugely improved her distance racing. Sorry, I'll just stick with the athletes. Ebba Andersson, well, she is the world champion, and she's very, very tough, very gritty, but rested from the sprints yesterday. And there she is, Jessie Diggins leading the way. She's got 623 points at the top of the world, and Rosie Brennan third place with 546. Victoria Carl, it's been a great summer for Victoria Carl. She's improved, worked on her endurance, and boy, has she lifted up the rankings, coming third, her first podium last week in distance racing. And I don't think we can forget Delphine Claudel. She's a good freestyler. Her classic has improved, so there's many. I think we'll see many surprises today. That's where I'm going with this Posey. Maybe even Margeta Bergan. We'll see her further back, bib 13. She's the under 23 leader at the moment. Lotte Utnesveng looking relaxed, a little slippy there. And here we are. Ann-Kirsti Kalva, she's wearing Big 10, 8th in Planica at the World Championships, but at 31-year-old last year, she seemed to find her way. Niskanen, we've just seen there, 20. It's Evelina Pipo, 24 further back, Pia Fink, and 30, Fosnes. So I think some of these athletes further back, difficult to come through. There's 38 as well. Drivens, Julie Bjervig, Drivens, I should say, 24th in Östersund last weekend. So about to get underway, the trial event, if you like, for the World Championships coming up in just over a year's time in Trondheim. So the athletes under starters' orders. Heidi Feng, so focused. It's a long hold, and they're off. Who's going to be the athletes? So 5 lines of athletes, one behind the other. And it's an easy run out of the stadium, a gradual incline.
Yeah, the crucial thing here at the start, as always, is just to get yourself in a good position. It's a bit frantic with the 6 lanes of traffic going down to 3, so just got to get yourself in a good position and stay out of trouble. No broken poles, that's what you're looking for.
That's the ideal. You want a decent flow into this, but it's a long, long climb out. Is that a broken pole in the middle, I think?
I think that was Carlson, who's just had a pole broken at the start, but had a really smooth transition and stayed up at the front there.
Impressive. So just under a minute as we exit the stadium. Well, welcome to there's a broken pole in the middle. What a difficult place, but what a fabulous ski pole exchange. So just at the very start of the race. So welcome if you've just joined us. Everybody's still together here, just over a minute on the clock, and this is lap 1 of 6. The first 3 in this, the classic style, and the second 3 sets of 3.3 kilometers in the freestyle. Talk us through the waxing today, Posey. It's incredibly, you mentioned earlier, we've seen -18, -19 racing this season up in the Arctic Circle. And today the air temperature, what is it, 6 degrees?
Today, at the moment, it's 4 degrees, but it could go up to as warm as 6 by midday. So particularly for the men, that's going to be a complete change compared to what they've had before. The snow we saw just at the start was coming in at about just under 0, so about -0.2 or something along those lines. So it's warm. The snow is very wet. That's pretty normal for here in Trondheim. It's right on the coast. They don't tend to get the really cold temperatures that they do further inland, and it's going to be tricky for waxing. We see, particularly with the steeper hills that we've got in the classic section here, it's not as easy to wax when you're around that sort of zero degree temperature.
Yes, and certainly we were watching the athletes in their warm-up phase, and certainly saw Heidi Feng a little frustrated. The grip wax wasn't gripping so well on the uphill, slipping back, but no one really struggling in this first picture here, up now into the steeper terrain in the forests of Trondheim.
Yeah, and of course the flip side is you want to get a good kick, but it can be very easy in these conditions if you have the clister, so the more kind of liquid kick wax on your skis. If you overdo it, then you pick up snow and then you lose your glide on the downhill as well. So it's such a difficult balance to get.
You know, this is bringing back memories, Posey, of the World Championships. We saw that earlier in the introduction, where Ebba, Andersson and Carlson deciding to set a very firm pace. There's Jessie Diggins. She'll have to make a decision to stay with this firm pace. I would imagine the two Swedish athletes, Andersson's legs are slightly fresher. Of course, Carlson was in the sprints through to the semi-finals yesterday. So her legs will be a little fatigued from yesterday's efforts.
Yeah, Carlson had a brilliant race yesterday. She's really come on in sprint. It's been interesting to see her choosing to join a lot of those sprint races rather than sit them out and focus on distance. So yeah, good day yesterday, and in Ruka as well in the sprint. So she is a little bit further back now, but we did see she had that snag with the pole getting broken out at the start. So I think just being sensible and taking a minute to rebuild back up to the front.
Yeah, look at the separation in this group as we saw leaving the stadium. 55 athletes. Now Ebba Andersson is pushing the pace so firm that it's really creating a spread all the way back some 400 metres. You see the athletes at the very back beginning already after 4 minutes to really find this pace too difficult.
Yeah, I think this is classic Andersson, isn't it? She's just going out hard. That's the way that she likes to do it. She doesn't want to leave too many people hanging around, so she's just finding her own rhythm, her own pace. She's just focusing on that.
It's quite a brutal strategy because you're at the front. Yes, they're averaging probably 23, 25, 26 kilometres throughout the whole race, so you've effectively got that headwind that you're pushing into if you're at the front.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always the smartest strategy in some ways. You know, you do use more energy if you're at the front. I think, so I suppose the flip side is you're driving the pace, and if your tactic is to go fast, then you're deciding what that is, and you're staying out of trouble, you're less likely to get poles broken and, you know, get stepped on or that kind of thing. But I do think there is a risk involved to it, and that's why we see other athletes being a bit more hesitant. Just to point out there, Mike, is that everyone went past. We saw Diggins over on the left-hand side of the screen, so on the third set of tracks, and although she's in the front of that track, she is behind the other two, so just dropping a little bit. And I think my one question mark over Diggins has been, is her classic technique up to these conditions where it's more challenging. I think when it's warmer, it tends to be softer, and you have to really finesse the technique to get up the hill as well.
Interesting. Yes, I thought she was a little tense, maybe tense in the fact that a lot of the big names were beginning to pull away. The all-important support trackside, giving split timings, or the spectators are out there as well, but not as many as I expected. The preamble to the World Championships, I thought we'd see some spectators all the way around the track, but not this time.
Yeah, I did too. I think I'm certainly sure next year in the World Championships it's going to be absolutely packed. The atmosphere is going to be brilliant. But I thought we'd see a few more out today. But I think in the stadium there's quite a good atmosphere yesterday. And I think by the time these women finish and start coming through a couple of their laps, that's going to be quite fun as well.
So this is 6 minutes on the clock. They've been through the 2.1. It is Andersson and Brennan at the front there as well. Victoria Carl on the right side as we look down, bib number 5, incredible performances this season. Look at the desire from Victoria Carl, firm pressure again. Rosie Brennan's in there. Where's Jessie Diggins? Oh yes, in the middle, about 5 athletes back, and the second from left column.
Yeah, I think that's a better position for her to be in. I think leading that track on the left, you're not in the front, but you're not getting the benefit of the draft either. So I think she's better to tuck in right in that middle lane and just use the advantage of the other skiers around her. It is looking a little bit, it's interesting again that those sort of down and then up hills like you had there, that does show the advantage of being in the pack. You can see some of the other skiers standing up and almost having to put on a little bit of a snowplow to stop themselves sort of banging into the back of the skiers in front of them.
Yes, so you're buying yourself comfort at the front, but it comes at a price. I don't know if you noticed there, Posey, Lynn Svan from 40th has made her way right up into that front group of 10 or 15, so a lot of effort she's put in to get through that traffic jam, which was ahead of her.
Yeah, I think she's definitely one we want to keep an eye on. We've got just to some of the other back markers, but some of the lowest starter numbers here. 42 is Kristin Jensen. She's one of the really young Norwegians, so although I don't think this is going to be her day today, she's only just 20 years old now, and again, just the opportunity to ski at World Cup level is just brilliant experience, I think.
But I look back at Bruce Bean and I thought, sometimes there's no pressure, no expectations. I thought she might have the freedom, but clearly suffering earlier. She is second in the world at juniors level over 10 kilometers free, so she'll come back maybe in the freestyle. So coming into the stadium after a very fast first 3.3 kilometers. Look at the pace. This is the sprint track from yesterday, carrying huge pace down this long straight, and then a very sharp right-hander. Speeds there will have been over 55, possibly up to 65 kilometers an hour. So Emma Riebaum, third yesterday in the sprint competition. Clearly her legs are feeling just fine today, and she wanted freedom around that first corner.
Yeah, a lot of Swedish suits starting to come to the front here, as you said. Svan and Riebaum, two people that we think of as sprinters, but definitely do have a good distance race in them, and this course can suit them if they can hang on for this classic lap. The skate we talked about a little bit easier, and they'll be in a really good position if it comes down to a sprint finish.
And maybe that was Emma Riebaum just getting the feel of what it's going to be like the last time of asking down the descent there. 18, that's Patricia Eduka. I'm not sure the wax is working well. She was double poling further than most, but she does like the skiathlon event. She was the under 23 overall best athlete last racing season.
Yeah, so just again looking as they come out the stadium for the second time here, Andersson really pushing the pace now. She's got a little bit of a gap opening up, but interesting to see if she can hold that, if that's going to extend, or as they come out of the stadium and resettle in, then that gap will close once again. Heidi Weng doing a lot of work there to try and close that gap back.
Andersson at the front. This is an incredibly firm pace, so her strategy is to really get some advantage, break the rest of the field. Clearly you can see some slipping there. The grip wax not gripping so very well. Bib 21, that's Nadine Feindrich. More a sprinter, but liking the distance today.
Quite a few sprinters choosing to enter the race today. I think we've got a break coming up now after Christmas, so a good opportunity maybe for them to do this and possibly grab a few bonus points as well.
Yep, so that's partly why Ebba Andersson is really putting the pressure on. She wants those 15 bonus points. So that really has created a slight separation at the front, but the big names, Jessie, Diggins, a little detached now. I say detached, she's in the pack, but 5-7 seconds behind the lead time. So back onto the same track again, having been through the stadium for the first time. 31 just in picture there, that's Lisa Lohman. Hasn't shown quite yet this season in her first full season of World Cup racing the potential that we've seen when she was a junior. Now there is a slight gap now back to Victoria Carl leading this chase group, if you like. There's Jessie Diggins, 4th or 5th there. Well, this is significant. 3 at the front now. Andersson, Rosie Brennan and Astrid Øyre-Schlind, the athlete who took the bronze medal at the World Championships in February.
Yeah, these are 3 gritty athletes, and all 3 of them are ones that are willing to put the work in, and they will be athletes who are interested in keeping the pace high. They know with sprinters like Riebaum and Svan around, it's going to be in their interest to kind of break it up, get a bit of a gap if they can do, and just keep the work rate as high as possible.
And probably go through the mindset of Rosie Brennan and Astrid Øyre-Schlind is that it's right, this pace is really hurting, but it's easier if we stick in behind an athlete in front, and that athlete that's on a mission is Ebba Andersson, so that's why they've put everything on the table, I think, to try and stay with that incredible lead pace from Ebba Andersson. So the rest of the field hurting and a pack forming. So welcome back. 3 at the front already, not long into the skiathlon, on lap 2 of 6. Andersson leading the way. Rosie Brennan tucked in behind, and Astrid Øyreslund from Norway there. She is slipping there. That puts a lot of tension through your body when you slip back and then you have to catch your fall effectively.
Yeah, Andersson is in front, and as we've said, that is the hardest working position to be in, but she looks the smoothest. I think Rosie Brennan and Slind a little bit there just look like the upper body's quite tense, like they're really having to fight just to make the wax work, whereas Andersson looks much more fluid and much smoother.
Yes, and Rosie Brennan would be absolutely on the tails of those skis. Well, she's back on them now, so she's almost been broken and then finding her way back in, and I think she'll try and live with this discomfort.
Yeah, I think the thing with this course as well is, you know, it's such a brutal climb, but if you can hold on until the top, then you're going to have some recoveries as they come to the downhill here. So she's only got about another sort of less than a kilometre to that high point, and then they've got this downhill section back. But again, with the course, you know, with that long downhill, they've got to keep the work rate up to stop these other packs coming back to them. Just to point out, Mike, again, that's Diggins in 14th position coming through there. Only 15 seconds back, but she looked a little bit adrift from that next pack as well. I think she's struggling with these conditions.
Yeah, and you know, it is quite significant after 13 minutes of racing to be detached by 15 seconds. So there'll be some concern, I think, going through Jessie Diggins' mind right now through the American support staff, that, you know, she needs to try and keep that to no more than, say, 25 seconds at the handover, and then come back in again with her stronger freestyle.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. She does her freestyle so good that she can make up spots, absolutely, when she gets to that. But with the likes of Andersson and Brennan in front, you know, it's not going to be easy to make up a huge amount of time on them. So despite the class that she's shown in freestyle, I think she can't afford to let that gap grow too much.
Just looking at the bonus points, it's Andersson, Brennan, Slind and Victoria Carl, 15, 12, 10 and 8 points. Reducing. So they're allowing Ebba occasionally to just break away, and then this now descent back down in towards the stadium will be an easier journey to stay with Andersson.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting here, just looking at behind. We've got Stadlover and Beng, actually, because Stadlover having a good day. We haven't seen too much of her this season. It's really working hard to try and make up the gap. If they can get within distance of these top 3, that's going to make that's going to be really important to the shape of the race. And Stadlover absolutely putting everything in to try and get on the back before they get to the next downhill section. Just knows how important it is to be on that draft.
Incredible. Stadlover, we talked about between ourselves Stadlover earlier, and she hasn't shown really much this season, but she certainly is showing a determination today that we haven't seen so far this season.
No, and she's a good classic skier, and she likes long distance races, so this will suit her, the 20k, but you know, without the form so far this year, it's been a little bit sceptical. Just again, Mike, just other athletes that are not quite where we'd want to see. That's Carlson there, bib number 11, and not even in the chasing pack, but in the second chasing pack, so Carlson really not having a good day either, and that is surprising to see. She's so consistent with distance racing.
She is. She loves this technique, she loves the distance, but did yesterday's efforts in terms of Carlson getting into the semi-finals, has that tired her legs out. Aiduka's still there. There's 26 just going through for Finland, and that's Joanna Matintalo, so it's detached by quite a margin now. Some of the big names in this race. Now let's have a look. Are they able to close down? Well, Stadlover has bridged that gap. What an effort she's put in to bridge the gap. So it is achievable, but it comes at a price.
It's a risky manoeuvre. You know, she obviously felt that it was worth the risk, because now again she's got the draft and she can try and stay with them on the next lap, but it takes a lot of energy, so sometimes you'll see athletes do that. They relax as they make it up to the pack and instantly drop off the back again, so you have to focus once you get on the back, make sure that you don't let that advantage drop away again, and we can see that other group are not far behind. It's so interesting just how much difference that long downhill stretch is making.
This track profile has got a personality or a shape and a style like no other, where so many of the athletes now have pulled back that 10-second deficit, and that's bad news for Andersson. She'll do the same again, I'm quite sure, Posey. She'll go out for this first half of this course, try and break them again, but this time break them by more. incredible how the chasers have come back in that very easy descent down back into the stadium.
Yeah, that's fascinating, and I thought that gap was looking positive and she had enough space there to breathe easy, but again, that downhill section has made so much difference. And we talked about Diggins there and not wanting to be too far back. She's now made up a whole load of time. It'd be good to see the split when she comes through, because again, if she can just do the same on the next lap, she's going to be in a good position for the skate.
Incredible. So Diggins down to 7. It was up to 18 seconds at the top. Well, so very interesting World Championships track here in Trondheim, and Ebba Andersson from the start has shown the leadership, the intent that she wants to win this one, as she did at the World Championships, but she's got a lot of company again. She broke it down to 3 out of the forests, but the pack have pulled her back in coming into the stadium for the second time. Well, Posey, what's going through Andersson's mind? She's tried 2 laps now to break the field. Yes, she's done a lot of damage in terms of breaking the numbers, but the big names are still there.
Yeah, there's still some good skiers there and some good sprinters that we've talked about, and also most crucially, they've not put in the work that she has. I think she will do the same again. Again, she's a little bit like Diggins in that her tactic is just to go hard and just to see who can manage that pace, just keep the pace high as long as possible. But there's a big risk to that, and I do think that people like Diggins are going to be thinking, yeah, I've done what I need to. If Diggins cannot let that gap grow too much, I've done what I need to hold on in the Classic, and now's my turn.
I'm a little surprised that Andersson hasn't had a little conversation with, say, Rosie Brennan, Schlind, saying, listen, can we work together in this and then share the lead? But no, I think that the pace is so strong with Brennan, and again, Schlind is just on survival mode, and now Stadlober there slipping a little, and already Posey back into the hills. The separation has started again.
Yeah, that hill is just so steep and such a long climb that it's just absolutely separating them out.
So nearly 20 minutes on the clock, and for the last time of asking, out on the Classic tracks here before the skis and the poles are changed and clipping into the freestyle for the second half, the second 10 kilometres on this tough course in Trondheim.
Yeah, it's really tough, and this just shows up the quality of the technique of the skiers as well. Coming around that corner there, we saw Schlind and I think Stadlober both having to jump out of the tracks, do a couple of strides of herringbone and get back in again, and the transitions are really difficult, and that's where you can easily lose sort of 5-10 metres if you're not paying attention. So they've done well to hang on to Andersson there.
They have a look at now Jessie Diggins. It was down to 7 seconds. She's well detached. Do you know, I'm just going through some thoughts here. Andersson, I haven't seen her slip once today. When you look further back at the rest of the Swedes, Svan is slipping, Carlson is slipping. So has Ebba Andersson gone for the firm grip but less glide back into the stadium? Maybe there's a factor in there.
Yeah, it could be a factor. I mean, I don't want to say the rest of the team don't, but she's got beautiful Classic technique, and I think just the way that she's getting the weight absolutely perfect over the ski to get that kick, she's looking really, really good here. And people are making time back up on her on the downhills, but I do think that's partly just the advantage of the draft. Just had a little look over her shoulder there, obviously hoping that she's got more of an advantage here, and I think she is losing Schlind and Stadlober a little bit. Again, I think they're going to come back together with these downhill sections, but she's just got to get the gap even bigger this time if she wants to have any hope of it sticking.
Such an impressive decision to make, to go out there and push your absolute hardest over the first 10 kilometres to get a gain, to get an advantage into the changeover, but it does come at a price.
Yeah, and I think Brennan's doing absolutely fantastically here. She's had, in many ways, the best race of everyone, because she's matching Andersson stride for stride at the moment, perfectly in sync. She's in second place, so she's doing a little bit of work, but she's at the front, and if they can make that gap grow, this is going to be good news for Brennan.
It is. This looks like the great Heidi Weng. She's 32 years old now. I did think, and I'm still thinking, that she can be a real contender today for the podium.
Just another name to point out in that second group before I come back to the front, that was Frosnes, so another one of the Norwegians who's not sort of top of the radar all the time, but she's had a good couple of top tens and sticking in there pretty well just now.
Incredible. Andersson still at the front. Brennan, Slind, Stadlober. Another name that we haven't seen much of, the twin sister to Amundsen, who's leading the men's World Cup standings. She's in here somewhere, clip 25.
Yeah, I'd actually thought that was her. I'm not going to lie, Mike, but she is in this next group back just here.
Yeah, so she's having she's racing above expectations.
Yeah, she's in a good group there. She's with, who's that? I think she's with Niskanen, Noah Elar, Lynn Stan, so some big names that she's holding on with, and Bergan as well, so the World Under-23 leader. So yeah, it's a respectable pack to be in.
It certainly is. And Bergan, she's always the fighter. She's gritty, she's tough, but hasn't quite come to the level in which we saw her last year, especially the 50 kilometre in Oslo, where she led a lot of that race. She was fearless at the front, but clearly not quite the form, or she'd be up with the front pace today. Bergan 29 detached.
Yeah, and just looking at this next pack, we've got Lotte in this Veng here. So again, Veng not having the standout result that she'd have looked for. I think she's had some pretty good results so far this season, so to be back in that fourth pack, and again, just even further back, that's Carlsen, 116 back now and in 27th position, so something is not going right for Carlsen today.
Yeah, she's just, I think the sprint races yesterday, well, this is now significant. Rosie Brennan has been detached, so it's at the front, standalone performance from Ebba Andersson, 23, coming up 24 minutes on the clock. About Rosie Brennan, there's one thing about Rosie Brennan in second place, she's not going to give up or back off in any way, shape or form.
No, and this is going to be so interesting. You know, Andersson's putting everything in. She knows she's got to push the pace over the top of the hill and do what she can, and it's actually in her favour that the pack behind is broken up a lot more as well, so they don't have the advantage of last time they had sort of 10-15 skiers together, and it was that group effect that got them sort of back to the front. So now they're all more strung out, and it's going to be fascinating to see as they do this last just over 1 kilometre downhill into the stadium. You know, are they going to come back, or is Andersson giving herself a good lead now?
20 seconds to Jessie Diggins, slipping there, 20 seconds. That's really significant, but I think Jessie will haul some of that time back, and now the faster second part of this course, which generally is downhill to the stadium. 25, there's Hedda Isberg Amundsen, the twin of the man who leads the overall World Cup standing and did so well yesterday. Andersson Brennan, again the bonus trophy points, so Andersson has picked up 30 points there, crossing the line first in both occasions. Svan's picked up 5, Ribom 4, Amundsen 3, and so on. Niskanen still there in 10th place. Well, huge amount of effort, Posey. 25 minutes of her maximum effort, but mission accomplished. She's got rid of the rest of the world as she makes her way down to the changeover into the stadium.
Absolutely, it's worked much more effectively that third lap than it did on the second. I think as the pack just strung out gradually behind her, there was not such an impact of everyone skiing together, but she's still got 10 kilometres to go, 10k skate. Brennan on absolutely brilliant skate form. Slind we've not seen a lot of, but she knows these tracks like the back of her hand. She lives in the area, so it's certainly not over yet, but she's got to be feeling good at this halfway stage.
Well, that was a long look behind, wasn't it, from Andersson, just who is there. She of course expected Brennan, she expected Slind, not sure she expected Stadlober to be in third place, but they have, look at this, they've managed to pull some time back, only 6 seconds back to Slind. Now, talk us through the changeover and the feelings in your legs.
The important thing here is not to panic. You know, it's so easy to kick a ski, lose a ski, or you know, not get your poles up, but you just got to be calm, get those skis on, and then you'll see them all. They don't put the poles on straight away.
Yeah, and here's Jessie Diggins. So Jessie has pulled a lot of time back. We know how exceptional she is in her downhilling skills. She's taking time, though, Jessie Diggins, to clip into those freestyle, the skating skis. And of course, Posey, the skis a little shorter, a little formal for the skating. No kick wax on them, and the poles a little longer than the classic poles. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as you say, Diggins came in there 14 seconds behind, so she did make up a bit of time again on the downhill. How does she do that? That's 7 seconds in just that final 800 metres. Brilliant performance. Yeah, and I'm going to be fascinated to see this first split, Mike, on the course as they get into the skate. I think Diggins is just going to go
right from the gun now. She's going to be wanting to make up that deficit as quickly as possible. She's won by 20 seconds in a 10k skate each of the last 2 weekends, so she can make up 20k. Oh, that's Bergan there just having an issue getting the skis on. Oh, that's such a shame.
She needs to lift her heel up there. Oh, this is awful to watch. Lift the heel up and that will release it slightly easier, but you go into panic mode, don't you, when you're she's having to bend down now.
Oh, that's such a shame to see. I think someone is coming to have
to drag the skis back in. I'm surprised they didn't put mats there. Well, we've never ever seen, and you can see the emotion there. Bergan has lost some 50 seconds, I think, or more in that pit stop, and that's a real shame. It's a very simple thing to do, to unclip the ski and clip into the others. You can see the pain, frustration.
That's a real shame for her, and you know, they do, the athletes, when they go down there, they'll check there's no snow in the bindings, they'll make sure the binding's in the right position, so you just have to put your foot in and twist it round. So I think it's just the adrenaline and not being able to focus as you come through there.
So this is the pit stop time. Bergan, let's have a look. Well, we may not see it because it will be so far behind. I'll try and get some information on Bergan's pit stop. Well, she worked hard, Posey. Andersson, the world champion from Planica at the beautiful venue for the World Championships last year. She started with determination and focus. She carried that all the way to the exchange. And those are the standings at half distance. Rosie Brennan only 3 seconds, 5.7 to Schlin. Stadlober is 6 seconds, so certainly they'll close down. I'm quite sure when we get back out into the forest, I'm quite sure they will have pulled back Ebba Andersson.
I think so. So looking forward to seeing the second half of the course as well, Mike. We talked about the first half, obviously, is the more challenging with that long climb that we've seen them go up 3 times. This one's much more rolling, so you're going to expect to see them in the skate 2 technique where they're sort of pulling on both sides. They've not got the long sort of challenging hills or the steeper climbs, so it's going to be high speed skiing here. And again, that does advantage skiers like Diggins, who are good on the corners and the fast-paced sections.
Very much. Incredible what Andersson has done. I thought the pack here trying to chase, I thought they would have gone off tough and hard to pull those 3 seconds, but Andersson is destroying everybody in this race now.
Yeah, Andersson is destroying them, but again here you can see that's Diggins, as we thought, and it was Heidi Weng as well right behind her. So they are all making time. So Andersson out in front here, but the pack behind coming back together a little bit, 5 or 6 of them skiing together.
I don't think we've seen since Therese Johaug times an athlete with so much desire to completely get rid of the rest of the field. And Andersson, looking at the profile, she must have thought, I've got to do a lot of the hard work early to make sure that I'm safe and controlling this. And incredibly, from the stadium at the changeover, she's managed to separate herself by 14 seconds. At a price, maybe.
Yeah, she's still got plenty to go, and I think the others are within sight of her, and there's something psychologically important about just being able to see that leader and knowing that they're not completely behind. But she's got a really positive start here, and I know that, you know, she's not going to worry too much. She likes to ski alone, as you say. She likes to just push the pace from the start, so she's got to look forward, just focus on her own race.
So 13 seconds now. Where's Jessie Diggins? There she is at 15.5. Now Jessie Diggins, when she gets into her skating rhythm, and I think it's even more spectacular whatever Andersson's doing here, because when you clip out of those classic skis and pick up your skating, you've almost got dead legs, haven't you? It's almost like in a triathlon, your legs feel so dead after the bike when you get into running, and that's a similar feel that you have here clipping into the freestyle skis.
Yeah, it's a really tricky transition from one to the other. So again, just looking at Amundsen, you mentioned that's Harold Amundsen's sister, Hedda, her twin sister, so having a pretty good race there, but starting to get a little bit detached from that pack she was with. And again, it's all about using the energy of the skiers around you.
So Andersson, can this chasing pack, a little stumble there from Victoria Carl. Are her legs spent from the effort in the classic? this will break Ebba Andersson's spirit, Posey, if they do begin to close this 14 seconds.
Yeah, this first split of the first lap through the stadium is going to be really interesting to see. Just looking back to that wobble there with Carl, interesting with the snow conditions again. Because it's so warm, it can get quite almost a little bit icy underfoot as well when you have a lot of skiers over it. So I think by the last lap, those corners are going to be a little bit chopped up and a bit more tricky as well.
Interesting. And talk us through this now, the 3.3 kilometres here in freestyle. Much easier than the classic profile.
Yeah, much easier. So, by no means a flat course. You've got 100 metres per 100 metres of climb per loop. So you've got 3 loops of the 3.3 here again. So a short hill out of the stadium, and then quite a long gradual down, not a steep downhill, but a slightly downhill section to about halfway, and then a couple of bumps up, I would say. So gradually up is the profile of the second half of the course. That's where Andersson is here. You can see she's on an uphill here. It's certainly not an easy hill by any means, but it's relatively short. It's not the sort of 4 or 5 minute climbs of that classic.
It's not, and it's exactly yesterday's sprint course, dropping down now, then back through into the central part of the stadium. So picking up speeds now of over 65 kilometers an hour. Yesterday the fastest down this descent was 67 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, again you could just see the ski marks in the snow there. If you have a look, at just that again shows how warm it is and how wet that you're seeing those. When it's really, really cold, it'll be stay much smoother for a lot longer. So pretty choppy out there.
So coming up to 13.3 of a 20-kilometre race, Ebba Andersson has been the standout athlete today. I love the way she's efficiently compressing and sliding her foot forward to gain more reach up the track. But she's got 4 athletes with intent trying to close her down, and then 2 detached.
Yeah, so interesting now that in the chasing group we've got Veng and Diggins coming through brilliantly, who are much further back, along with Stadlover and Slint, who are in that group. Brennan is struggling now. I thought that she would do okay when she got on the skate skis. So Brennan's dropping back a little bit, but just about managing to stay with Victoria Carl as well.
Heidi Veng taking some of the leadership now, with Diggins behind her. Stadlover's there. Astrid Euler-Schlind, Victoria Carl detached by somewhat 4 seconds, and that's a tough journey now for her. Rebound sprinting so well yesterday, but now beginning to look tired. So through the stadium, having completed the first lap in freestyle, it's all about Andersson at the front.
This is a strong lap from Andersson, so the gap stayed at 14 seconds, so if anything it's increased a couple of seconds since the handover zone. So Andersson's looking really good out there in front, not worrying at all about any packs forming behind her or what's going on, just again keeping the pace high, focusing in front of her on what she needs to do for the rest of the race here. And the skiing, her tempo and the strength that she puts into it is just so positive, and she's looking great.
And in a large factor actually, the sprints yesterday, not for her, she opted out and really has some extra energy today. But look at Jessie Diggins, desperate to hold that 14 seconds. Amelia Wells, what's this? Didn't follow the marked course. Well, you're not allowed to break free. I was just trying to get what the Norwegian was saying there. Yes, that's unusual to get a verbal warning for going the wrong way.
Yeah, so Diggins taking control on that chasing pack, and that is what I expected her to do. I think she'll feel that she knows she's the strongest skate skier, and it's in her interest to do a bit of work to pull this pack up. She is a good sprinter as well, but she'll be interested in can she make the time up on Andersson. Brennan definitely struggling there. What
she goes through, Posey, it must be mentally quite tough, having put so much effort into the classic.
Oh, she looked brilliant in the classic, but struggling now in skate.
So Andersson at 36 minutes still has that lead. It was 14 seconds, but I was going to say a very purposeful chasing pack. Here she is under the tunnel, back into this. It's very visual in terms of spectators in the stadium.
These corners are just getting really challenging. You can hear the snow slide as they go around. They've all navigated that pretty well. But if there's a big group, I think in the men's race will be interesting. We're going to have some big packs, I expect, at that point, and staying on your feet and just keeping out of trouble is going to be the name of the game.
Well, so many of the experts and the local knowledge around this area saying that it's going to be almost impossible to break free on this track because the pack will stay with you. But Ebba Andersson completely disproving so many who thought that this track, especially the second part, was so difficult to break away from athletes. But what a intent she had from the gun, just to really hurt everybody, and so far mission accomplished.
Yeah, so far so good, and they don't seem to be making a huge amount of time up on her as yet, so it's going pretty well. And she's not the strongest sprinter, and this is her preferred way of skiing. As you said, it's kind of Johan-esque. She just wants to work hard from the start. Just say, can you stay with me, or can you not? This is what I'm going to do.
Now, I'm thinking back to February when she had this 20-second lead, remember, and coming in towards the stadium, she had a very fast fall. When you fall at 45 kilometres an hour, you have a real chance for the chasing pack to close you down. On that occasion, they didn't. But I wonder if that's going through Andersson's mind at any point on this course. The following athletes will be thinking, oh, well, maybe there is a slim chance she may fall. But a very slim chance.
I think she'll be putting that out of her mind, I should think, as much as possible. But I mean, it was a brilliant recovery. I've never seen someone with such a lead and be able to get up so quickly and not even look bothered by it. It was an impressive show of mental strength.
It was. So chasing, it's Jessie Diggins leading the chase. Heidi Feng. Schlinder's in there, Stadlober, and detached but still fighting hard is Victoria Karl. What a fabulous season she is having. Rosie Brennan next down the track there, really suffering with that firm pace that she set to try and live with Andersson over 10 kilometres in the classic style. And then it's Emma Riebaum on the podium yesterday all the way through to the final, so 4 times around the 1.5 kilometre track at full pace yesterday.
Mike, I wonder if we can get another look at Brennan there, because I might be completely wrong, but her poles look very short. I'm just wondering if she picked the wrong poles up. I might be completely wrong on that, but I was just thinking her skates through there as she went up the hill, it looked really hard work and like they were very low.
Well spotted.
I could be completely wrong, but I'd like to get another look.
I look at Andersson, so the poles are up by the side of the head. Yes, she's leaning forward slightly, but there is a very specific pole length that you're not allowed greater than in the classic, of course.
Yeah, this is great skiing from Andersson. It's high speed skiing there, so you've got to have good balance. Diggins, brilliant skis, just able to have a little tuck there while the others are doing some work. So being a little bit smart for once. I criticised her earlier, I think, yesterday. The heat, she put a lot of effort in the whole way round.
Talk us through this technique. Look at the slide forward there from the foot and the knee and the
great
hip.
Skiing. So this is skate 2 technique. So you'll see some athletes will be going into skate 1 where they're just skiing on one side, as she's just gone into there, but she was able to do skate 2 really high up the hill. So I think that means that she's got good strength and good power, and I really like her tempo. It's always very positive.
It certainly is. Well, Andersson doing her world standings a whole lot of good today. She's ranked 7th in the world. She's picking up a lot of these bonus trophy points. 15, then 12, then 10. So Schlind, Veng, Stadlober, Diggins in 5th, resting up in 4th in the chase pack, I would say, Posey.
Yeah, that's smart. And Carl's able to get back on that group again. She looked like she was detaching a little bit in earlier on, but she's back with that chasing pack. But Andersson, that was a great point there. She can have a little look behind her.
Now let's have a look at Rosie Brennan.
I think it might just be her technique, to be honest. I think she's just got a little bit tired.
Yeah.
When you get tired, the body goes down and the poles just hit the ground further behind. So I think it was just that. But it's looking scrappy. She's looking tired.
She's tired. She's totally spent. But here's an inspired Ebba Andersson. Just needs to
look at the sugar there.
Yeah, and there's slushy wet conditions here in Trondheim. 16.6 on the graphic there, so just one more lap to go for Ebba Andersson. Boy, has she made this look easy. And what an inspired performance. From the gun, she took the decision to try and break everybody. She's achieved that, but there's still 5 athletes determined to hold this back. Posey, what's going to happen next? It's very unlikely, I'm sure, that they can close these, what is it, 15, maybe 14 seconds
It'd be great to get a look at these splits when they come through, but they're certainly not making meaningful time up on her anyway, are they? I think this is going to be at least, we're over 10 seconds already. It's going to be the same, if not more than last time. So Andersson's doing brilliantly, and a little bit of gamesmanship there, I think, as well, from Slynn, looking like she's not wanting to come through.
So it just feels now, doesn't it, Posey, that they're just looking for second and third position. The chase is off. They don't want to put their own energy out by leading this chasing pack. So that fight is for second place.
Yeah, that's going to 25 seconds now, so big gaps going up, and then another 20 seconds back to Brennan and Ribon.
So this is looking at position 9. Lynn's fan, she came through strong from a bib 40, tough to get through the pack, but some minutes and 4 or 5 seconds detached. There she is, 104 behind. Niskanen, we thought maybe she had her. There she is at the back of this Kerttu Niskanen. Her strength is classic style. She couldn't live with the pace of Ebba Andersson, and now finds herself over a minute 5 behind.
Look at that. Brilliance is a masterclass out there. Brilliant skiing. I love it. She's so powerful. You can just see how much she drives the poles down as they land. It's a lot of power. Good crunch with the upper body. Really, really strong. And just looking as good now as she did with the start.
Incredibly. Just trying to get some info there. But yes, she just needs encouragement at this stage. She's done everything out there. She knows that she's broken the field. She just needs to keep that comfortable technique and pace going. You can see the momentum has been lost here, so the chase is off. This is definitely a silver and bronze medal fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they know that gap's grown, so there's no chance of getting up to Andersson. So now it gets a little bit tactical. Do you want to keep pushing, or you save a little bit of energy for that finishing sprint? This is going to be an interesting battle, because there's some good finishes in here. Even Slind, we do think of as a distance skier. She's known for the ski classics, but often those distance races actually come down to a bit of a fight for the end as well. So she's not got a bad sprint on her either.
Yes, and I think this terrain now coming down here suits very much Jessie Diggins. She really works on every aspect of the downhill, but does she want to be at the front initially, or does she want to sort of catapult through being in the slipstream?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to think about the tactics that worked well in the sprint heats yesterday, because actually I think it could come down to those sort of last hills on the sprint course where the moves are made.
Well, Jessie Diggins, surprised a little to see her in fourth in this chasing group here, but there is still a way to go. They'll be back into the stadium again.
Yeah, everyone are just a little bit careful on that corner there. You don't want to be ruining your race. Just to see some spectators out, as we said. That's good to see.
Well, this is a lap of honour for Ebba Andersson, really, on the World Champion tracks, World Championship tracks for next a year, this coming February. Of course, in cross-country skiing, it's every second year for World Championships. Well, there she sees them, and she will absolutely read that the fight is not for chasing.
Yeah, again, just looking at Diggins, she was just tucking longer than everyone else there. She's made the decision she's staying with this group until the end, so she's not fighting to get past them. I think she knows she can't make enough of a break, so did a great job there, conserving energy, tucked longer, obviously got brilliant skis as well.
So Victoria Karl leading the chase, but well and truly comfortable out front. It's still Ebba Andersson. She's not backing off at all, Posey. She's just keeping this firm, beautiful, technical charge up the hills in Trondheim. 18.7 about to be achieved, and she's certainly not backing off.
No, I think she wants to make a statement here. I think she's maybe not had it all her own way this season. You know, she's had a couple of podiums, but not the regular dominance of every single race.
Have a look at Jessie Diggins, just staying down a little lower. I think she's ready to unleash her early breakaway, but at the moment it's Heidi Weng on the left side. It's Victoria Karl from Germany, looking so strong throughout the season so far. What a step up she's made to her performances.
Yeah, and I thought she'd dropped off the pack in the last lap, so she's done well to come back and now to be leading it. So all just getting a little bit cagey. I think no one's quite ready to make a move yet, but they've only got 1.3k to go. 5 of them and only 2 podium spots left.
This doesn't go 5 into 2, doesn't work. Jessie Diggins a little roadblocked on the left side there behind Heidi Veng. Victoria Carl, she's such a tall athlete, she's difficult to get past.
It could be any of them. I'm not sure if Stadlover's got the sprint in her to get this finish, but all 4 of the other athletes have, can do a good sprint, so it's going to be close.
It is. So Ebba Andersson just going past Phoebe Cridland there from Australia, who should actually move over and come off the track. So Germany, 2 Norwegians, 1 German, 1 Austrian and 1 American. Jessie Diggins from 4th to 3rd. It's all about the correct time to break free and try and lead the big long descent into the stadium. Does she know that she's leading? Has anybody told her
Certainly
that
not easing off, is she?
that she's way out front? Oh, what a picture, and what a joy for Ebba Andersson to look back down this long hill.
She'll enjoy this corner. She'll be able to get a little look back, see she's got some space, and maybe enjoy that last 500 metres. Here they go.
Here they go. Jessie Diggins making the decision to go quite early. She knows this hill well. Yesterday in the sprint competition into the semi-finals. Well done, Jessie Diggins. She wanted to buy herself some comfort, some metres ahead so they can't slipstream her. Heidi Veng certainly not going to let go easily. And all the while at the front, Ebba Andersson, she will look left, and I'm quite sure, will know that it would be Jessie Diggins making the big sprint. This is beautiful from Jessie Diggins.
It's great. Veng's doing well. There's a tiny gap there, but she's still in touching distance. So I think, that was brilliant from Diggins around the hill. She just accelerated beautifully there. But Veng, she's got to work hard if she wants to get that final slingshot into the last corner.
So here we come, Ebba Andersson. What a performance. She made the decision early that she was going to take the pain in the classic style. She didn't get much of an advantage. It was only 3 seconds, but really powerful. First of 3 laps in the freestyle, and the world champion coming in to cross the line with quite a substantial lead. Well done to Ebba Andersson. And she made it look easy. Jessie Diggins, the leader of the overall World Cup standings, she knew the fight was over for first, but she wanted to take the 2nd position. Tactically brilliant. Jessie Diggins 2nd place. And well done to Heidi Veng, chased by Stadlover, the Austrian, in 4th. And Slind was there much of the race, but 20 seconds adrift in the end. And Victoria Carl taking on so much of the chase work, now in 6th place at the end of the chase pack. Well done to Ebba Andersson. That was quite a forceful performance, Posey. Determination,
desire. It was an absolute dominant performance there. Just having a look as we got Emma Rebohm across the line. I think she's going to be pretty happy with that. Podium yesterday, 2nd place in the sprint, 7th place today. Shame for Brennan, looked brilliant in the classic, but just couldn't hold it together in the skate. And Lynn Spahn as well. So sprinters coming through well today.
They are incredible. The sprinters really are. Emma Rebohm as well. So that's a 7th position. And of course Rebohm 2nd in the World Cup standings. Nis Fusnes there we saw just